Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Could the Newcastle United takeover deal be finally nearing its completion? Yes, this story has been dragging out for a while now, but this seemingly impossible dream that Newcastle fans have all been dreaming for many years of getting rid of Mike Ashley and actually having a future to actually get excited about and to look forward to might have took one step closer to becoming a reality yesterday. We're going to be talking all about this potential groundbreaking, incredible news for Newcastle United. We're going to be talking about what the owners have planned. We're going to be talking about what effect this might have on the rest of the Premier League and so on and so forth, as well as just the story in general. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both of you will always and forever be greatly appreciated. But for now, let's get back to talking about this great breaking news story, or great news story in general, of Newcastle United's possible takeover nearing completion by taking one big, major, however you want to put it, massive step closer. As I say, this is a story that's been dragging on for what seems like an eternity now, and for the main part of this story, featuring this Saudi consortium, dates back to, of course, last year throughout the first lockdown in England, which, to be fair, although I say it was last year, does seem like it was many years ago. There were a number of rumours and reports back then that this takeover could be done, dusted and completed then and there, but it never happened. Like, it hit a massive stumbling block that the Saudi consortium originally walked away from. The Premier League and Newcastle pointed the finger at each other as to who was to blame for the initial collapse of the first attempted takeover bid. But we could all kind of tell that the Premier League didn't want another wealthy owner to enter the game, so to speak, similar to what we saw with Manchester City, of course, all of them many years ago. But yesterday, a big step forward was made in this whole saga that took place, and that was the resolving of an issue between the Saudi state and beIN Sport. beIN Sport, of course, have ties to Premier League broadcasting, but are banned in Saudi Arabia, all for diplomatic reasons allegedly and stuff along them lines. But that issue is said to be resolved and sorted out, and that it was seen as a huge hurdle to overcome as part of this takeover deal. Now, of course, we are just awaiting Premier League confirmation, and for the Premier League to give the go-ahead, the green light, however you want to put it. There's still got to be Premier League confirmation on this, and should it all go through, all be above board, get across the finish line, however you want to put it, then Newcastle United will have finally gotten rid of their current owner, Mike Ashley, after 14 years in charge of the club, and will also have a future full of hope and excitement, something to desperately look forward to after many years of mediocrity, and seeing the bigger picture for what it is, basically, that their team are not going to be breaking their necks, so to speak, to try and get anything above where they were currently sat. Remember, this is a club that under Ashley's reign has seen them yo-yo between the Premier League and the Championship a few times, seen the odd great player here and there, but the majority are mediocre at the Premier League level that they're currently at, and have statistically seen some of the worst Premier League managers to be appointed as head coach of the club, with the possible exception of Rafael Benitez, of course. But all these things have been ways in which Ashley has managed to keep the club afloat, taking the cheaper option, taking the more cheaper alternative options, and getting somewhat a bit lucky here and there in terms of how they've maintained their Premier League status, or occasionally found a good player, whether from inside their own club or from elsewhere, that they managed to make a profit on, or something along them lines that's been a worthwhile investment. As I say, this club has had to endure many years of lower level mediocrity under Mike Ashley's reign. Managers have come and gone, likewise have players. They've not really been the major issue. The finger of blame has always been pointed at the club hierarchy and ownership, mainly with Mike Ashley's name at the top of that particular blame list. And it seemed yesterday the dream of removing Mike Ashley from power at Newcastle took one major step closer to becoming a reality. Like I say, it's crazy to think that this could actually be happening. So much talk has been made of this in the past and nothing has really transpired from it. It seemed very, very close at one point, but then it initially collapsed. And today could be a massive day because the news of this being all confirmed seemingly is more sooner rather than later from happening. It could be very imminent. It could even be as close as the end of this week. It could be today. It could be whenever. But it does seem like this news of confirmation that Newcastle United have been taken over by this Saudi consortium is extremely, extremely close to happening. The Magpies fan base may just have to wait a little bit longer for everything to go ahead. But it seems, although they've had to wait an extremely long time anyway for this to happen, having to wait a little bit more may not hurt, assuming that everything, of course, gets done, dusted, completed, and goes over the line. This apparent planned future for the consortium's takeover is as follows. Assuming that everything goes through, of course, the consortium aim to try and get Newcastle competing for major honours again, transform the club's academy and scouting network and unlock Newcastle's massive potential and become the club of the North. This whole thing appears to be working off of the blueprint that, of course, Manchester City worked on many years ago to get to where they are today. They can use City as a bit of a guideline on how to rebuild the club and how to continue to elevate them year after year after year, season after season after season, and by, but obviously not do the mistakes that City made, of course, such as get a little bit too excited when they eventually got a lot of money and buy random players like they did with the likes of Robinho to make a statement and get one over on Manchester United, their rivals, or Emmanuel Adebayor or buying Roque Santa Cruz, them kind of players that were just seen as, we have money, let's just throw it at these players that were pretty good at the time, rather than buy into a major sort of plan and have some sort of foresight going forward as to what they wanted to do with the club. They just saw that they had a lot of money, saw a lot of good players that were available for big money at the time, and didn't really have the best long-term investments, but still managed to throw money at it to try and get the ball rolling, so to speak. Newcastle will try and learn from that. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they won't try and dive into it headfirst. I'm sure they've got a bit more of a plan going forward, having seen what happened with Manchester City. But look, the transformation of this club isn't going to happen overnight since the takeover's completion. If the takeover is completed, there's going to be massive amounts of changes in regards to everything, both on and off the pitch with this club. But what we do know is that Newcastle is a club with huge amounts of potential. This club can go back to the roots of what made them historic in the first place and completely elevate from that point. Under Mike Ashley's reign, they seem to be handcuffed, they seem to be chained and locked down, but with the freedom that this will give them now, with the freedom, the money as well, and the possibility of injecting that kind of cash wherever they see fit to invest it, whether it is in their own academy, which I'm sure they will, like they said they will, because Newcastle have a very good academy, and with some renovation there and some improvement, they can honestly start to rebuild that way, whilst also bringing in some very, very good players from elsewhere as well. And wherever they see fit to invest the massive amount of cash injection, because remember, these guys that are coming in aren't exactly poor. They are extremely rich, and that is an understatement, because they are richer than any Premier League owner. They are richer than the Premier League owners combined. They have got massive, massive, massive amounts of money. It is going to be insane, the prospect of the future that Newcastle probably possess with these owners in charge. It's going to be incredible, and it's going to be incredible to watch from afar, whether you're actually a fan of Newcastle, whether you're a neutral fan, or whether you're a rival fan. It's going to be intriguing to watch Newcastle United grow over the coming years under the ownership of these guys, because they're going to obviously try and grow this club and elevate it back to where it was, and then obviously exceed those elevations and exceed those expectations. And this could be a very exciting future for everybody associated and involved with Newcastle United. Of course, cautious optimism. This isn't across the line yet, but it does seem very positive in the way that talks are being talked about and reports are being talked about. It seems very cautiously optimistic to get there when, of course, it all gets confirmed. And then, Newcastle fans, you can get truly excited if or when it does get to that point and that stage as to what the future may hold. Overall, this may not be something that is welcomed by everybody in the Premier League, and certainly not by everybody in general. The Premier League, for example, do not want another shark in the tank, so to speak, after seeing probably what Manchester City's rise to them has done over the many years that has passed. And I'm sure that, including myself in that, as I've done here, we will obviously be drawing comparisons to the Manchester City blueprint as to what Newcastle go on ahead to do in the future, if this of course goes ahead. But for Newcastle and their fan base, and with everybody associated with the club, or even the city, because let's face it, this is a massive community thing regarding this football club. The 14-year reign of Mike Ashley looks set to be ending very soon, and it may be time to look forward to a promising and exciting future ahead for one Newcastle United. But of course, as I always say, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make, Newcastle fans, of this massive potential news that Mike Ashley is one step closer to being out of your club, and you are getting some mega rich owners in this Saudi consortium? What do you make of that news? Are you excited? Are you looking forward to it? Are you got cautious optimism because of what's happened in the past regarding this news story? And what do you make, rival fans or neutral fans, on this story? Are you looking forward to seeing Newcastle grow? Are you not happy about this at all? I'd love to know everybody's thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, down below in the comments section, because I'm sure they'll all make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit that like button on the right if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch, this has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see and speak to you all again soon in another video.